All right, NEF 44 back in black is this Saturday in Milford, New Hampshire. And I have none other than the head coach and owner of Young's MMA, Chris Young, on the show here to help me break it all down from his team's perspective. Chris, how are you?
I'm not doing too bad, Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Normally, I'm seeing you a few times a week now, and it's good to see you in this setting. Just a couple days ahead of this big fight night, which seems kind of crazy. We're not used to this regionally. It's kind of nice that fights are coming back.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, for this is kind of my job, my profession, my passion. So, being on that big long hiatus was pretty tough. So we're really glad to be back.
Yeah, let's first start with Glory Watson. Obviously, change in opponent and change in sport for that matter. This is not an MMA fight, it's a kickboxing bout. Rebecca Brigman, her originally scheduled opponent, unfortunately contracted the COVID virus. Now step in Hilarie Rose, which is really exciting. I mean, this is a big name. She was right on the cusp of signing with the UFC, lost to Cheyenne Bays on Dana White's Contender Series. This is a tough opponent. This is someone that's very skilled. She's well-rounded. How do you like this from Glory's perspective? And how exciting is this to actually have, this level of competition, and win or lose, it's not going to go against her pro MMA record?
I think that's just it. You hit it on the head. We have the opportunity to get some really high level competition, see where Glory kind of stacks up without the impact of affecting her record one way or the other. So that's kind of how we're going into this. It's just an opportunity to get some really good experience.
When you look at Hilarie's skill set, I mean, obviously we'll just stick to on the feet because this is a kickboxing bout. What does she do best? What kind of a fighter is she on the feet? And how is this going to be stylistically with what Glory brings to the table?
I think it's kind of a clash of styles for sure. Like I think she's got really good fundamentals, good jab, good leg kick. She's going to be very tough in that department. I think the advantage that maybe Glory might be bringing to the table is we've trained Glory from the very beginning to be an MMA striker. She's very unorthodox, different angles. So I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of like that solid fundamental style against kind of a little bit more of a unique style. See how it plays out.
Yeah, you actually had mentioned to me the other day that you compared it a little bit to TJ Dillashaw versus Renan Barão back in the day, which is extremely exciting. Explain that a little bit, just technically, from Dillashaw being like Glory and Barão being more like Hillary.
Well, I mean, I think Barão was just destroying the division. He had really sound fundamentals. He was vicious, and I so you that comparison to Hillary, she's got those really solid fundamentals. She's not afraid to get in there and swing. You could make the argument she's pretty vicious. Glory is going to be a little bit more unorthodox. If we get in there and execute the way that I know she can, she's going to be kind of coming from different angles, a style that maybe you're not used to seeing in a straight kickboxing match.
How has she looked in camp thus far, and how did it affect her mentally when Rebecca dropped out and Hillary stepped up to this fight? Did it change her focus or her mindset at all?
Actually, that was the kind of one of the was an interest. The first test here, honestly, was that moment when the fight dropped out. We suggested this idea of taking a kickboxing match, Hillary being the opponent that stepped up. I didn't pull any punches. Like I told her that, this is a drastic change in sport. There's a big difference between kickboxing and MMA. A lot of people don't understand how different that is. We see a lot of MMA fighters try to dip their toes in other sports, and a lot of times not with great results. It's different. It's a different sport. And so I didn't undersell it at all when I was trying to convince her that this is a different sport. And Hillary's tough, and Glory didn't hesitate at all. I was pretty proud of her because it's the mental part of this game is very challenging, and to see her so ready to step up and so confident was very good as a coach.
Were there any takers to fight her in an MMA bout? I mean, or was it just too short notice to find someone legitimate to come in and fight Glory?
I think it was the latter. I think it was very short notice. And COVID, we're still feeling the effects of COVID too. A lot of people aren't as prepared as they might be if we were, not facing the crazy issues that we are now. So I just think it was a shortage of people willing to step up.
Yeah. And as far as Gloria's excitement goes for this test against Hilarie, I mean, tell me a little bit about, what she said to you and, where her head's at right now. Because again, as I said earlier, it's a big name. This is a big deal, regardless if it's not an MMA bout. This is still a marquee matchup, two of the best pound for pound females in New England. So how excited is your star pupil right now?
I think she's pretty excited, but Gloria is funny. She doesn't really think a lot about the matchup until it's fight night. She's always really kind of calm. You ask her, have you started visualizing the fight? She's like, no, nah, she's not really thinking about it. So I think she's excited. I think it's cool that she's going to be able to get in there. I think she's excited with being able to get in there and let go without having to worry about a lot of the repercussions of like, how is this going to affect my career or anything like that. So I think she's excited, but you wouldn't necessarily know that if you were just sitting there talking to her.
Yeah. When I ran into her earlier today, she told me she was 2 pounds out of making this is a 120-pound fight. She just looks super lean. Do you notice a difference in her as far as, maybe her focus, her diet, her work ethic since she's turned pro to keep herself a little bit smaller so she can make that cut down to 115?
Well, actually, we kind of did some drastic changes to our strength and conditioning routine. That was one of the things that we kind of wanted to work on. We figured, we had this kind of crazy hiatus during COVID, so we figured we would just work on her body. And I think the results kind of speak for themselves. Like she is definitely, she was walking around at like 130 pounds, but she looked lighter just because she is leaning out a lot. So I think we were concerned that putting on the muscle might actually affect her weight cut adversely, but it's been great. It's actually, she's had no problems whatsoever, but she's also very disciplined. I don't have to worry about her cheating on her diet or, missing workouts or anything like that. So honestly, it was just kind of changing her strength and conditioning routine a little bit. Really has made a huge difference. Athletically, obviously the look, but we're also seeing those results in her training as well.
You also had mentioned to me that if Matt Peterson didn't find her a replacement fight, that she was going to lose a lot of money from, ticket sales and everything. And it would have been really bad timing because she just moved into a new place. When a fighter's in a situation like that and, the promoter saves the day and finds a new opponent, what does that do for a fighter's psyche to be positive, moving forward come fight night? Or more specifically, what does that do for Glory? Because it seems like maybe she's the type of person that would react very positively to that and just, move forward in the best frame of mind possible.
First off, Matt Peterson is great. Like, I mean, he has always treated us very well. He goes above and beyond to find us the fights. I mean, this is just another example of the lengths that he's willing to go to. And that's important because this isn't a hobby for Glory. Like this is what she does for her job. Like she works in the gym with personal training with her clients, but the bulk of her money she makes from sponsorships, ticket sales, and she's great at it. Like she makes some serious money doing this. And that was just as an amateur. She's making even more now as a pro. So it's important to know that you have a great support system, not only just friends, family, coaches, but the promotion itself sees your value and wants to make sure that they're helping elevate you. So it was super important, especially, because the timing was really bad when this happened because she literally just signed, I think yesterday, signed the lease on her apartment. So having the situation where she could have possibly lost that type of money would have been tough.
So let's talk about, the travel going down to New Hampshire. This is a little bit different, obviously. NEF is primarily, I mean, it's been a Maine promotion, whether it's in Bangor, Portland, or Lewiston. You can count on them being in the great state of Maine. But, here we are. This is the debut in New Hampshire. So things are going to be a little bit different. Who will be making the trip down there with you? Like who's going to be in her corner? And then you have another fighter, Richard Martel, who's making his amateur debut. So just run me through the next couple of days, what it's going to look like for you.
Honestly, as a team, we actually kind of like this. We always had to travel. It was one of those things that even when, we were fighting in Maine, we were still driving 2 hours to get to the shows. It got to a point where when they switched to the Bangor location or the Orono location, it was weird. We were sleeping in our own beds. It didn't feel like fight night. It didn't feel like fight weekend. So I'm actually looking forward to traveling again. I enjoy it. So, packing up, heading down there, it makes you kind of feel like, okay, this is fight weekend. So it kind of gets you all revved up. We always go out for a team dinner in the evening. So this is kind of what makes it feel like it's fight weekend. As far as who's going down, we got Levi Sewell, Aaron Lacey, and Jimmy Jackson, who's going to come down. They're going to be helping me out. Who will be in the corner will kind of be depending on who's doing what at any time. Levi's our cut man, so he'll definitely be there. And probably Aaron will be in the corner with me for most of the fights.
And is Glory and Hilarie, is this the main event of the evening?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I've heard rumors that it could be, but I don't actually know that for sure.
Okay, let's talk about Richard Martel. He's making his amateur debut. He's been busting his butt in the gym with you for a really long time now. What can we expect to see out of Rich here in this 130-pound bout?
I can tell you this, I can't see it being boring. I don't know if it's going to be quick or if it's going to be long, but I can't see it being boring. Rich has been with us for quite a while, off and on and out of the gym, but has always been a steady training partner, has been instrumental in Glory's development because he's, a smaller man. And so he does a lot of work with Glory, and they push each other really well. And honestly, Rich was one of those guys, he never really came to me and pushed on, hey, I want to fight. He mentioned it to me. He would mention it here or there, but he was just one of those guys that come into the gym, put in the work, and wouldn't hound me about it. Got to a point where I was like, this kid deserves a chance. And I think he's ready. And I think it's going to be exciting because Rich doesn't have the boring style. He's not the guy that's going to try to take you down or hold you on the floor. He's going to try to knock you out.
Where has Rich evolved the most as a fighter since he started training with you?
Probably his grappling. He came in kind of a comfortable striker. That was definitely probably the thing he gravitated the most, was most comfortable with. But obviously we do a lot of grappling, a lot of wall work, a lot of wrestling, that type of thing. So that would probably be his biggest area. He's not an easy guy to take down. I think he can probably keep this striking if he wants to. So it's going to be exciting.
What do you know about his opponent, Hannon Sanford?
I don't know a whole lot. I'm obviously super familiar with Central Maine Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We cross-train with him often. Jesse Erickson's great, an amazing coach. He has a one fight, so what we can glean from that. But that was almost 2 years ago. So I'm sure has probably evolved a bit beyond that. So I trained Rich to be prepared to fight. I didn't train him for this guy particularly. You can't really do that as an amateur. There was too many skills that he needed to work on. So it wasn't like I was like, okay, this is the guy we're preparing for. This is what we're going to do in camp. We just worked him overall, all the stuff that he needs to work on.
Very good. Well, I'm definitely excited to see Rich make his amateur debut. Another guy I have to ask you about is Aaron Lacey. Unfortunately, his bout with Shane Manley, it was supposed to be the main event on this card, and it has now been canceled. What can you tell me about why that was canceled? And how is Aaron feeling as of today?
Aaron's feeling better now. He's still dealing with the repercussions of what he was going through. Honestly, it came down to the point where he first started getting a little bit sick, and obviously we're all hyper aware of what we're dealing with right now. So he wasn't coming into the gym just to be on the safe side. So he wasn't getting that good quality training in, and then it just progressively got worse to the point where he was having a hard time breathing. He got done training or got done with the sickness, felt comfortable coming back in, and he was just struggling through the training. Aaron's at this point in his career where he can't afford many more losses. He's 30 years old. He's got to make a run. And Shane Manley is a very, very tough opponent. People look at his record and they think, oh, well, his record is not reflective of how tough he is. So we just came to the conclusion that it would probably be best if he pulled from this fight.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. I'm sure that was a very difficult decision for Aaron, because I know it's been quite a while since he's fought inside of any cage. As far as his future goes, do you expect him to fight again before the end of 2021, or could it be until 2022 until we actually see Aaron fight?
He wants to fight. you know, so he'll have his eyes out for other opportunities. Hopefully the NEF will be back sooner than later. So we'll see what the future holds.
All right. Now I know you pay very close attention to the regional fight scene, so I just want to get your take. You know, stylistically, I'm not asking you to make predictions, but there's a couple of title fights here on this NEF card that I'm really excited about. I'm going to be there doing the cage side commentary. So you got a welterweight bout between Duncan Smith and Mike Bezanson, and then a featherweight championship between Nate Grimard and Brandon Fevens. When you look at these two fights stylistically, like what are the fans going to see come fight night?
Well, Duncan and Bizanson, that's a really interesting fight. I know a lot of people have been kind of saying it's like grappler versus striker. Like Duncan comes from a striking background. Like he's got some pretty crazy kicks and some unorthodox striking style, just as well as Bizanson. But like it's I actually see this fight kind of being more of a striking fight personally, and I hope it is because I think it'll be really exciting. That being said, it would be interesting to see Duncan try to get the fight to the ground, just because we haven't seen a lot of that out of Bezanson. We haven't seen him fight on the ground. So I'm sure he's capable there, but it would be nice to see him tested there as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And that featherweight bout, what are you expecting in that title fight?
So we actually train with Nate quite a bit. We go down to Nostos every Saturday and spar, me, Aaron, and Glory, and anybody else from the team we can get to go. So we train with Nate. I see his training. I see where he's at. The thing with Nate is he's just constantly getting better. Like every time I see him training, he's getting better and better and better. He's got an amazing team. So I think that's going to be, I don't know a whole lot about his opponent, but I can tell you Nate is definitely ready for this fight.
Can't wait. And I heard that there are rumors that NEF might be putting a card together again in the near future. Is that something where, when it does happen, when it does get announced, that you can expect maybe Glory and Rich to both be on?
Most definitely. Definitely Glory. We'll see how Rich feels after this fight. I'm hoping that he wants to jump right back in there. We'll see what the future holds with that. But definitely, I mean, I would really like to, I mean, it's obviously a step backwards for Glory in the sense that, we're trying to build a record, and we're really hoping to be able to pound out another 2 or so fights before the end of the year. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Chris, last thing from me, tell people about your new home out in Orrington, the new Young's MMA headquarters. I know there's a lot of work yet to get done before you're fully functioning and up and running, but just tell us a little bit about where you're at and forecast, what you're hoping to be come 2022.
Well, right now, we're out in Orrington. We're not currently open for business quite yet. We're doing a few small group classes. I'm doing a lot of personal training. So anybody interested in that, you can hit me up on Facebook. Big thing right now is renovating. Actually, I just came, I'm still covered in sawdust. I don't know if you can see that, but I actually came right from the gym, working in the gym today. I had clients, then started working. So just a lot of renovating going. I really highly recommend keeping an eye on Facebook for all our fans out there, because that's where we're going to be posting all the information. And hopefully, if things work out well, we'll be looking to possibly be starting some classes before the snow flies. We'll see. That's our hope. That's the goal. But definitely everyone keep an eye out on Facebook, because that's where all our updates will be going, and all news on the gym.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Chris. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. I'll see you down in Milford, New Hampshire for NEF 44.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan.